Who knows what Christmas is all about?
A Charlie Brown Christmas wasn't just another holiday cartoon. It was the night animation grew up, told the truth about loneliness, and somehow made jazz piano feel like snow falling on pine trees. We're counting down 10 facts that prove this 51-minute miracle changed television forever and almost never got made at all.
Lights, please.
Number 10, CBS executives hated it. Let's start with the most important fact. The network that commissioned A Charlie Brown Christmas absolutely despised what they received. When Charles Schulz and producer Lee Mendelson delivered the finished special in December 1965, CBS executives watched in horror. No laugh track, amateur child voice actors instead of professionals, a Bible passage read on primetime television, slow jazz music that sounded nothing like Christmas. They predicted it would be a disaster, a career-ending embarrassment. One executive even suggested they pull it from the schedule entirely and eat the production costs rather than air it, but it was too close to airtime. The advertising was already sold, and they had no replacement ready. So, on December 9th, 1965, they aired it anyway, expecting to bury their mistake and move on. Instead, it captured 45% of the television viewing audience that night. Nearly half of everyone watching TV in America chose Charlie Brown. The special won an Emmy and a Peabody Award. And those executives who wanted to kill it, they quietly took credit for greenlighting it.
I think there must be something wrong with me, Linus.
Number 9, the kids were actually kids. Here's what made the vocal performances so unusual for 1965. Every other animated special used adult voice actors pretending to be children, delivering polished professional reads with perfect timing. Charles Schulz refused. He insisted on casting real children, even though they couldn't act, stumbled over words, and recorded lines with all the awkward pauses and uncertain delivery that actual kids have. Peter Robbins was 9 years old when he voiced Charlie Brown.
Good grief.
Christopher Shea, who played Linus, was 8. Some of them couldn't read yet, so the director had to feed them lines one word at a time. The result sounded unprofessional, unrehearsed, almost amateurish by network standards. But that's exactly what Schulz wanted, because childhood isn't polished. It's messy, uncertain, vulnerable. When Charlie Brown says, "I think there must be something wrong with me," you hear a real child's confusion, not a performance. That authenticity is why it still works almost 60 years later. Modern audiences raised on slick animation can immediately tell this special came from a different era, one that trusted children to sound like themselves. Number 8, it was animated in just 6 months. Most animated specials took 12 to 18 months to produce. A Charlie Brown Christmas had half a year from concept to broadcast. That insane deadline meant the animation studio, Bill Melendez Productions, had to cut every corner imaginable. Backgrounds were simple watercolor washes. Character movements were limited. Recycled across scenes, there's barely any lip syncing. Snoopy never speaks because they didn't have time to animate his mouth. Some scenes show characters standing completely still while only their mouths move. By professional animation standards, it looks cheap, rushed, unfinished, and yet that simplicity became its signature style.
Charlie Brown is a blockhead.
The sparse backgrounds let you focus on the character's emotions. The limited movement made every gesture count. When Linus drops his blanket to recite the Christmas story, that single action carries enormous weight precisely because the animation doesn't distract you with unnecessary flourishes. The rushed production schedule accidentally created a visual language that felt contemplative, almost meditative. It forced the special to be about faces, words, and silence rather than spectacle. Number 7, the jazz score was revolutionary. Nothing on television sounded like Vince Guaraldi's music. Holiday specials in 1965 used orchestral arrangements of traditional carols, big and bright and cheerful. Guaraldi, a jazz pianist from San Francisco, composed something completely different, wistful, melancholic, complex. Christmas Time Is Here doesn't sound triumphant. It sounds like memory, like loss, like nostalgia for something you can't quite name. CBS executives complained that it didn't feel Christmassy enough, that viewers would find it depressing.
Hark the herald angels sing.
They wanted jingle bells and sleigh bells and all the commercial trappings. Schulz said absolutely not. The music stayed, and Guaraldi's score became as iconic as the animation itself, covered by everyone from Dave Brubeck to Tori Amos. That opening piano melody is now inseparable from the season. You hear 3 notes and immediately feel December, whether you want to or not. It's been called the greatest television music ever composed, and it almost got rejected for not being cheerful enough. The irony is perfect. A special about the real meaning of Christmas beneath the commercialism nearly got ruined by executives demanding it sound more commercial. Number 6, Coca-Cola sponsored it. The most anti-commercial Christmas special in television history was brought to you by one of the world's biggest corporations. Coca-Cola bought all the advertising time, making a Charlie Brown Christmas essentially a Coca-Cola presentation. The irony wasn't lost on anyone, especially when Charlie Brown complains about commercialism while Coca-Cola jingles played during the breaks. But here's the fascinating part. Coca-Cola never tried to influence the content. They didn't demand product placement or script changes. They simply wanted to be associated with quality family programming, even if that programming criticized the exact consumer culture they represented. It's a contradiction that somehow worked. Schultz got to make his statement about materialism, and Coca-Cola got to fund art that enhanced their brand by not being crass advertising. For one brief moment in 1965, commerce and creativity achieved an uneasy truce. The partnership lasted through the 1960s before other sponsors came in, but that first broadcast, funded entirely by soda money, remains one of television's strangest and most successful contradictions.
And there were in the same country shepherds.
Number 5, the nativity scene almost got cut. This is the heart of the entire special, the moment everything builds toward. Linus walks to center stage, asks for the lights, and recites the nativity story from the Gospel of Luke, word for word from the King James Bible. 2 minutes of scripture, uninterrupted, on primetime network television. In 1965, this was already controversial. By modern standards, it's almost inconceivable. Network executives begged Schultz to cut it. Too religious, they said, too divisive. You'll lose the Jewish viewers, the secular viewers, everyone who doesn't want church in their living room. Schultz refused to negotiate.
Keeping watch over their flock by night, and lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them.
The scene stayed, or the special didn't air. His reasoning was simple. You can't do a Christmas special that ignores what Christmas is actually about. Not presents, not parties, but the story of a birth in a stable. Whether you believe it or not, that's the source material. Remove it, and you're just making another commercial for toys. So Linus stands in a spotlight and tells the story, and his voice doesn't waver, and when he says, "Fear not," he drops his security blanket because that's what the message means. In that moment, a network cartoon became something else entirely, something sacred, regardless of your beliefs, and it happened because one cartoonist refused to compromise. Number 4, the ending was improvised. The final scene where the kids gather around Charlie Brown's sad little tree and transform it with their decorations wasn't fully scripted. The animators had the basic idea, the tree gets decorated, everyone sings, Charlie Brown realizes he's not alone. But how to execute it visually remained unclear until production was nearly finished. Bill Melendez, the animator, made a last-minute decision to show the transformation happen almost instantaneously. One moment the tree is bare and pathetic, the next it's glowing with ornaments from Snoopy's doghouse display.
What's going on here?
There's no explanation, no process shown. It simply becomes beautiful because the children decided it should be. That visual choice turned the ending into something mythic rather than realistic. It's not about decorating technique. It's about communal belief transforming reality. When the kids sing, "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," in their imperfect off-key children's voices, they're not performing, they're testifying. And Charlie Brown finally understands that Christmas isn't something you buy or achieve. It's something you receive from others when you stop trying so hard to manufacture it yourself. That ending works because it doesn't explain itself. It just happens, like grace.
My own dog gone commercial. I can't stand it. Oh.
Number 3, Snoopy was almost removed. CBS executives had another complaint beyond the jazz music and Bible verses. Snoopy wasn't funny enough. In the comic strip, Snoopy was becoming Charles Schulz's most popular character, a slapstick scene stealer. In the special, he's surprisingly subdued. He decorates his doghouse, does a little dance, wins a Christmas lights contest, but he's not the focus. Charlie Brown's sadness, Linus's wisdom, the children's rejection of commercialism, these drive the story. Snoopy is just part of the ensemble. Network executives wanted more Snoopy, more comedy, more commercial appeal.
You'll have to be all the animals in our play. Can you be a sheep?
Make him the star, they suggested. Build the special around him. Schulz again refused. This wasn't a Snoopy story. It was about a depressed child finding meaning in community and faith. Snoopy could participate, but he couldn't dominate. Looking back, this might be Schulz's wisest creative choice. Snoopy's muted presence allows the special's serious themes to breathe. If he'd been doing his World War I flying ace routine for 10 minutes, the tonal balance would have collapsed. Sometimes what you leave out matters more than what you include.
What a treat!
Number 2, it saved the Peanuts franchise. By 1965, the Peanuts comic strip was successful, but Charles Schulz wasn't wealthy. Comic strips paid modestly. He needed another revenue stream, and television seemed like the answer. But his first attempt, a Peanuts documentary earlier in 1965, had performed poorly. If A Charlie Brown Christmas failed, it would likely be his last chance at television success. The financial pressure was enormous. He'd gambled on an unmarketable product. Slow-paced, religiously explicit, unconventional in every way. If it bombed, he'd return to daily comics, comfortable but limited.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Instead, it became a phenomenon that spawned 45 more Peanuts television specials, several movies, and eventually made Schulz one of the wealthiest cartoonists in history. The empire that followed, the merchandising, the theme parks, the Broadway musical, all traces back to December 9th, 1965, when CBS reluctantly aired a special they expected to fail. Schulz bet everything on his vision and won. But it nearly went the other way. That's worth remembering when you watch it now. This isn't just a charming relic, it's the hinge point where children's television chose art over formula and discovered audiences were hungry for something real.
I've killed it.
Number 1, it's about depression. Here's the fact that reframes everything else. A Charlie Brown Christmas isn't really about Christmas. It's about clinical depression seen through a child's eyes. Charlie Brown exhibits every symptom: persistent sadness, loss of interest in activities, feelings of worthlessness, social isolation, inability to experience joy even during celebrations. He sees everyone else enjoying the holiday and can't understand why he feels empty. He tries to fix it with external solutions, directing a play, buying a tree, but nothing helps because depression doesn't respond to achievement. It responds to connection. What makes this special revolutionary is that Schulz never pathologizes Charlie Brown's condition or offers a simplistic cure. The other kids don't tell him to cheer up or snap out of it. Instead, they show him he's not invisible. They take his rejected tree and make it beautiful. They include him in their song. They demonstrate that his presence matters, that his worth isn't determined by success or failure. It's a surprisingly sophisticated understanding of depression for 1965, decades before mental health became a mainstream conversation. And it's why the special resonates across generations. Everyone's felt like Charlie Brown at some point, standing alone while the party happens elsewhere. And everyone needs what he receives in the end. Not advice, not solutions, just the radical acceptance of being seen.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Bonus fact, it still airs every year. For nearly 60 years, A Charlie Brown Christmas has aired annually on American television. That's older than most of your viewers, older than color TV in many homes. It survived network changes, format shifts from standard to HD, cultural upheavals, and the death of appointment television. In 2020, Apple TV Plus acquired exclusive rights, briefly ending the broadcast tradition before public outcry forced them to air it on PBS as well. People weren't just nostalgic. They were furious that a piece of shared cultural heritage had been put behind a paywall. Because this special doesn't belong to Apple or CBS or even the Schulz estate anymore. It belongs to everyone who's ever felt like Charlie Brown, which is basically everyone. It's become part of how America observes Christmas, as essential as trees and carols. And it achieved that status not through commercial appeal or celebrity voices or cutting-edge animation, but by telling one simple, true story about a sad kid who needed to know he mattered. That's why it endures. Not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. And honest never goes out of style. A Charlie Brown Christmas almost never existed. It was too slow, too sad, too religious, too uncommercial. Every decision that makes it a masterpiece was something executives tried to remove. But Charles Schulz fought for his vision and created something that transcends nostalgia. It's not just a memory of childhood Christmases past, it's a reminder that the things we love most often come from people who refuse to compromise. We've got more deep dives into the shows that shaped your childhood coming every week. Until then, remember, you don't need the perfect tree. You just need to know someone's listening. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown.